Welcome back. All right, so some news of the day. Now, I'm going to take credit for Weegar signing a contract. Before I watched the Nashville San Jose game, Yvonne and I went out this morning, and I'm going to guess that during the 45 minutes we left the house, Weegar signed that contract. So you're welcome, Mackenzie Weegar and Flames fans. Now, I expect people to say in the comment section below it's too much money. It's too much term. It's too much money. It's too much term. Because it's said about every contract that gets signed in the NHL. True. Well, most of them anyways. Most of them you'll hear that. But Weegar is a guy they believe in, and they envision him to be part of the top two, not just the top four, but the top two. So for Weegar, the $6.25 million cap hit, clearly something the Flames are comfortable with, and Weegar has to be very excited to stick around. What's interesting with the Weegar deal is something very, very simple here. The plan was, according to a lot of people online, that the Flames trade out Tkachuk, they get Weegar back, they get Schwint back, they get Huberdeau back. Well, Huberdeau and Weegar aren't going to sign there, and so they're going to be rentals at the deadline. The Flames are going to be rebuilding. Nope, they signed Weegar, now they've signed, they signed Huberdeau first, now they've signed Weegar. Schwint was sent down to the AHL, but he's part of their plans this year. Honestly, I like what Calgary's done. I think they've had a fun offseason. We'll see whether or not there's another championship of the division in their near future. This, of course, is this year. I'm wearing this while I can, because this hat may not age very well if they get off to a slow start. I can't wear this without it looking like I'm being sarcastic. So, we'll see how things go for Weegar. They have big plans for him. He clearly was excited to play with the Flames. He and Huberdeau both, at the time of the trade, were excited to play for the Flames, and they've put their money where their mouth is by signing long-term contracts. So, there you go. Sometimes when players say things publicly, they actually mean them. I know, it's weird, right? Tyler Myers is out 2 to 4 weeks with a lower body injury, so that's got speculation here locally that maybe the Canucks will pick up one of the defensemen that's been put on waivers today. Myers, of course, I didn't think he had a fantastic preseason until now, and now he's out 2 to 4 weeks, so we'll see what they do. Dowling was waived by the Canucks today as well. Dowling, I expect to clear and end up here in Abbotsford. Useful player for Abbotsford. Besser and Mikheyev are expected to travel with the Canucks to open the season, so that's good news. It means they're not far off. Besser and Mikheyev, those are two scoring wingers. They need that. For the Canucks to get back into the hunt and actually get back to being a playoff team, they're going to need as many of these scorers in their lineup as possible. The thing with the Canucks, they need to have 3 scoring lines rolling, I think, to have any chance in the Pacific and just in the West in general. So the sooner Besser and Mikheyev are back, the better. The New Jersey Devils waived Andreas Johnsson. Cue people coming in and saying, oh, I hope that my team picks up Johnsson because he's useful forward. But his cap hit's going to make that trouble. Remember, about half of the league is sitting right at the salary cap. So even if they wanted to pick up Johnsson, they can't. And then the other problem is, and I've stated this recently too, if you pick up Johnsson, then you have to waive somebody off your 23-man roster too. Or you have to send somebody down. So it's not as simple as just acquiring assets like you might do in a video game, which we've all done in NHL video games. Who's on waivers? Yep. Who's on waivers? Are you serious? Yep. Especially when the salary cap's on. That's why I like playing with the salary cap off. I find that you get fewer of those. The AI did what? I feel bad, but sure, I'll take all those guys. So, yeah. Johnsson on waivers, I don't think gets taken. Same with Khudobin for Dallas. I don't think he gets taken. He wasn't taken last year when he was on waivers. I think Dallas waived him twice last year. Khudobin is on the back end of his career at this point. I do give him full marks for playing well when he was called upon in the preseason, but I do expect him to clear. Also, Philadelphia waives Grosnick. They also waive Connaughton. Connaughton's a defenseman. I don't think that's one that Vancouver will be looking at, though. He's on the older side. And for Connaughton, he should clear. Grosnick will clear in net as well. Sandstrom sounds like he's getting close to coming back. He's expected to be the backup for Carter Hart, who should be good to go for opening night as well. And I don't think they waive Grosnick if they didn't fully believe that Hart's going to be fine and good to go for the start of the season. Also, good news for Flyers fans. I know, isn't that weird? It's weird to say it, but good news for Flyers fans. Farabee has been cleared for contact, so that means he's close. It means he's very close to coming back, if not ready to come back. And so, yeah, having Farabee back in the lineup is a big boost for the Philadelphia Flyers, who also, if they're going to move up in that Metro division, they're going to need all hands on deck, which means the sooner Couturier's back, the better. Janmark was waived by the Oilers. Janmark, bottom 6 forward. and kind of surprised he got waived by the Oilers. They also waived Samorukov. Now, whether or not Samorukov ends up passing through waivers is a question, because he's not young, but he's still young enough that he may attract some attention. He's a big blue liner, and somebody somewhere might pick. That's one that the Canucks could target. Virtanen was released yesterday from his tryout. Not entirely surprised by Virtanen being released. What I saw of him in the preseason, he had a few good shifts here and there, but there wasn't anything he was providing that I think would improve that bottom six for Edmonton. So it really was just a matter of he didn't outplay anybody else to steal a job. That's what you're looking for, and that didn't happen. Kostin was waived by St. Louis. Does Kostin clear? Probably. I would think probably clears. Everybody from yesterday did. Also, St. Louis released Tyler Pitlick from his tryout, so this may be the end of the line for Tyler Pitlick. And it's always unfortunate when a guy comes in a tryout, doesn't make it, gets released, and that's how their career potentially comes to an end. I think that's kind of tough. Now, Carolina waived Martinook. They're hoping that his contract will put off teams that might look to make a claim. It's $1.8 million this year, $2.7 million next year. That being reported by Pierre LeBrun. So the Canes don't want anybody to take Martinook. They want to keep him, and they feel that his contract should ward off teams from claiming him. They're just looking for more roster flexibility. So you can send a guy down. You can do the paper transaction where you move a guy to the AHL without actually sending him down, and then bring him back up. So that's the kind of thing the Canes are looking for. Don't be surprised when teams are doing that a lot this year, where players get waived just for that cap flexibility. Again, about half of the league sitting at or over the cap. So GMs are going to get really creative with this. Jets news, Kovacevic has been waived. And honestly, he could get picked up. That is possible. Kovacevic or Kovacevic. I think it's Kovacevic, right? Anyways, either way, he's young. He's a big defenseman. Those guys can be in demand. And so we'll see if he clears. Brad Lambert has been sent to the AHL. So while he had a good preseason, they feel he needs more time in the AHL, or the player that beat him out for a roster spot has to clear waivers, and he doesn't. So look for that, and don't be too surprised when that takes place. Toronto news, Jake Muzzin, Pierre Engvall are set to return to the team and play in their next game. Get ready for the regular season, and Tavares is skating with them as well. So the Leafs are getting healthier. That's good news. Muzzin, of course, if he was missing from the blue line to start the season, that's a tough one. So him coming back is big, and we'll see how things go. Speaking of, Matt Grzelcyk, full participant at Bruins practice. So there was talk about how much of the regular season he might miss. He might miss nothing. Back at practice, full contact. Grzelcyk might be in the lineup. And Grzelcyk is an underrated defenseman on that blue line. The one thing I found interesting was watching a Bruins game the other night and talking about how Boston wants more production from their blue line. And I had to say out loud, I don't know that they have offensive blue liners to really make that work. It's something they've lacked since Krug left, and I don't think they've fully addressed that. They need a really good puck-moving defenseman. Now, Lindholm may end up being that guy, but Lindholm's more of an all-around. We'll see. And, of course, the big one is McAvoy that's going to be missing the start of the season for sure, right? Also, Chicago news, Caleb Jones may miss the season opener. It's a shoulder injury for him, so that's kind of a tough one, but Chicago's had a rough preseason as expected. And Jake McCabe at practice, full contact. Looks like he'll be good to go pretty quickly into the season. That's good news for McCabe and for Hawks fans as well. An interesting post by the NHL that immediately people said, pardon? So the NHL acknowledged that the regular season was starting today. They have not been promoting these games in Prague at all. Maybe that's part of the reason there wasn't a sellout today. It seems kind of odd because you would think there'd be a lot of hype in Czechia. I almost said Czech Republic, but Czech Republic or Czechia, whichever you prefer. Ahoy, Czech. So they also posted, so the regular season's starting now and opening nights in 4 days. That doesn't make sense. Okay? It's not a movie. You can't premiere it for a couple of audiences and then go, okay, but the actual wide release is. The NHL's not a movie. That doesn't work. So opening night in 4 days seems odd, unless their argument is, well, technically these games aren't at night for North American fans, which I guess, sure, okay, fine. But yeah, I just did a review for a regular season game. The NHL season has started. as much as they want to hype opening night. And it's about attracting as many eyeballs as possible to the doubleheader that opens the season on the 11th. And as I've been saying, opens the season in North America, right? So the games in Europe are regular season games. You have the Global Series, and then the North American opening is on the 11th, which I think is a better way of phrasing it, instead of saying our opening night is in 4 days. But hey, it's the NHL. What are you going to do? Let me know your thoughts so in the comment section below, as always. Do you view that as soon as the regular season starts, that's when it started? It's weird. Anyways, it's an NHL thing. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.